Hey everyone, Thursday, time to talk some more chocolate with you. I'm excited to be talking about 9th and Larkin today. They are a bean to bar maker out of, so I've got a couple, I'll show you the other ones I've got here too. They're a bean to bar maker out of San Francisco. They're relatively new. They started in 2017. The idea started forming in 2016, done by a wife and husband duo, Lan Phan and her husband Brian. Lan is originally from Vietnam, but she came to the San Francisco Bay Area in 2006 for graduate school. So she has a BA in International Economics and an MBA from San Francisco State University. Her background is market research and business analysis. Her husband, Brian, is an engineer, so they come with not a food production background. Lan, she told me that she's just always loved food and loved eating and looked at food as art, and loves chocolate. When Brian and her would travel, they would wherever they traveled, they would go around and look for places that had good chocolate. And then they got the idea in their heads that they were going to make some chocolate in their kitchen. And so they went for it. And husks were flying everywhere, and beans and nibs, and the smoke detector went off, and chocolate stains were all over everything. But they did it, and they liked it, and that's when it started. So it took Lan a while to find the perfect space for her and her setup, and then she had to go through all the inspections. She actually quit her full-time job to work full-time as a chocolate maker. Her husband Brian helps out on the weekends. So they still are based in San Francisco. What else can I tell you about them? The name, 9th and Larkin. So 9th and Larkin, this comes from a personal story. So 9th and Larkin, they are two streets in San Francisco. Lan was living on Larkin Street and Brian was living on 9th Street when they were dating. And in San Francisco, those streets are joined and they become one. And so they thought it was kind of symbolic of them dating and then getting married. So that's where the name 9th and Larkin comes from. They are a small batch maker, so most everything that she does is still a lot by hand sorting, hand pouring the bars, hand wrapping them. So there's a lot of personal touch that goes into these. I am going to, open today her Vietnam bar because Lan's from Vietnam, so why not try that? She gets to work with cacao beans from her home country. How cool is that? So I'm going to open this one today, and when I flip the camera around, I'll tell you a little bit about this wrapper. Her wrapper has gotten some buzz about how it was made. So let's flip the camera around and do that. Okay, so let me tell you about her wrapper. So when she was making her bars and talking to her designer, she wanted to do something that was simple, something natural, something chocolate related but not too obvious, and something artsy. And so her wrapper's actually gotten a lot of buzz, like in architectural design communities and design communities in the San Francisco area. So what they actually came up with was they took one of these, a dried cacao pod. So this is a real cacao pod. It's been dried out. You can hear the beans inside. And they painted it and rolled it onto paper to create this pattern. So they rolled it onto paper, created a pattern, and then the pattern was screen printed. And that's where the pattern for her bars comes from. So that's very cool. It hits her goals exactly. Natural, simple, chocolate related, but not too obvious. So you wouldn't look at that and think, oh, hey, a cacao pod made that. You'd have to know that that's where that came from. So I'm going to open her Tien Giang I'm probably saying that wrong. This is a province in southern Vietnam. It's located along the Mekong Delta. So here's some geeky facts for you. The Mekong River is the 12th longest river in the world. Because it's close to this river, it's got red soil, volcanic soil, and it's very high in nutrients. And basically the area is kind of perfect for cacao growing. It's like got a steady 81 degrees, lots of rainfall, perfect for cacao. So cacao was actually brought to Vietnam in the 19th century by the French, but it didn't really take off as a crop until the 1980s when the Soviet Union endorsed it as a crop. They had a presence in Vietnam at that time. So it took until the 1990s where it actually became commercially viable, time for the trees to grow up. And you may have heard of Vietnam beans before. There's one company, Maru, that has really brought Vietnamese beans into the forefront of craft chocolate. And so Lan, being from Vietnam, she was excited to be able to work with beans from her home country. So I'm going to open this one today. This is a 70% dark chocolate bar, single origin, made in San Francisco, bean to bar maker. Oh, that's my note from that. We'll just put that over there. Let's see. Just talks about on the back the process, that everything she does is inspired by the cacao tree. They do hand selecting, hand wrapping, a little bit about storage, no tasting notes. Here's our ingredient: cacao beans, cane sugar, and cocoa butter. So very simple, 3-ingredient bar. And then we've got a batch number and a best by date. All right, so let's open this one up. How do I do this neatly? There we go. Okay, so you can see again the pattern from the cacao pod when I open it up. That's a really cool idea. It's a fun idea that they came up with. All right, let's take a look at this bar. Whoa, that is a beautiful looking bar. Wow. Look at how nice that looks. So perfect. And it's square, not a normal shape. A patented shape if you want to believe a certain German chocolate maker, but I don't think anybody should be able to patent the shape of chocolate. Anyway, they make a beautiful square bar. Look at the color on this. Look at the shine from the temper. Wow, this is a really nice looking bar. Oh, and it smells great too. Okay, so I'm going to break off a piece. So let's hear the snap. Good snap, a nice snap for a 70% bar. I feel like this is like an ideal width for chocolate. This bar right here. Okay, what I'm going to do now is, it looks like it's beautifully tempered, beautifully poured. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to rub it a little bit with my thumb and warm up the cocoa butter so it releases some of those volatile compounds. Cocoa butter has a melting point near body temperature, so that's why this works so well. I'm going to smell for the aroma and then we'll taste it. All right. I had to taste this one a few times because it's so, I don't know what the word is, gentle, releasing its flavors. It's quite a nice bar. So when I smell it, the aromas I get are like a brownie, maybe dried brown fruits like a fig, and maybe some warm spices in there like cinnamon. Yeah, cinnamon. And then when I taste it, I get some of the same, but some a little different too. So I get definitely the brownie kind of flavor in there, a nice cocoa base to it, and then also a little bit of acidity, not unpleasant, a nicely balanced acidity. Some of the dried brown fruits coming in like a fig or a date. It's not really sweet at all. I wouldn't call this a sweet bar at all. It's not unpleasantly, it's got virtually no bitterness, almost no astringency. It's quite a nice bar. Lan has really done a good job with the beans from her home country. So that is the Vietnam bar. So very pleasant bar to eat and beautiful bar to look at. Wow. I can tell that she puts a lot of care into pouring and molding her bars. So let's flip the camera around and we'll finish up. Okay, so that was 9th and Larkin. That was a delightful bar, just nice to eat. It's leaving a really nice aftertaste, lingering aftertaste in my mouth that is kind of tannic and chocolatey and just pleasant bar to eat overall. So that's 9th and Larkin out of San Francisco. Their goal, Lan told me her goal is to stay crafted, stay mindful, and not worry about making a lot of chocolate, but worry about making the best small batch chocolate that she can with all the care that she puts into it. So that is the story behind 9th and Larkin. If you would like to learn more stories behind the chocolate and the craft chocolate makers out there, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I never know which side it's going to be on. And subscribe, and we'll see you next Thursday. Thanks for watching.